Hello there! Welcome to the pilot of Wildstar housing tours. My name is Tuskeh, and in this video we're going to visit a level 50 house in Wildstar. Now, just in case you have no idea what this is all about, in Wildstar you can customise your very own plot of land down to the smallest of details. This allows for some very creative houses, but this series isn't going to be focusing on houses that have been so customised that they're not really houses anymore. As awesome as things like a working skate park are, I'd like to focus on something a little more down to earth for now, going over a house, examining its details, and providing a little bit of information to help inspire you folks, and maybe provide a little bit of feedback for the owner so that they can make their land even better. As always, let me know what you think of the formula. This is something a bit different, and your feedback is greatly appreciated. Now, let's get started. In this video, we'll be going over the House of Gaelic, a level 50 Cassian. He spent a lot of time working on the house, and he's gone for a very upper-class, royal Cassian sort of vibe. It could very well be a manor. As soon as you enter, a small sort of tower and a lamppost draw your eye. At the top, inside, is a pile of treasure. I like this. Not only could it be a sort of guard tower for the manor, but it could also be a stockpile of plundered goods, rewards, trade agreements, things like that. It also provides a good vantage point to look about the outside of the plot. The first fab kit on the plot, fab kits being a pre-made kit that can be slotted into a number of spots around the house, is a consumables vendor. It looks fairly ramshackle and cobbled together, which could seem out of place at first, but I like to think that this could perhaps be where low-born manor servants may congregate during their short breaks. If this is the case, I'd imagine it would be better placed away from the front of the house. No Cassian wants to see the rabble on the front lawn. Besides that, the Snackomatic 3000 is pretty nice for being able to sell stuff. Moving on to... I'm not even sure what to make of this. This is perhaps the strangest thing on the plot. Some kind of diorama with zombies. It's probably a reference that I don't understand, and someone's probably going to yell at me about it. I think it's a bit insane, out of place, and really no highborn Cassian would want zombies on their lawn. Anyway, one aspect of this side of the plot I really like is the large structure in the corner. I'm not sure if this is a fab kit or a placeable decor item, I'm pretty sure it's a decor item, but I think it fits very well. The gold trim and silver grey of the stairs fits with the Cassian theme in my opinion. This could be some kind of fancy teleporter or communication hub, or even some kind of pilfered elven relic. I really like this. I would say to make it more prominent, but its sheer size makes it good in a corner, I think. One note about the zombie diorama here. I like the fact that the house's burnt roof combines with the nearby fire elemental. It looks like it just shot fire at the side of the house. Well, at least from this angle it does. It still seems a bit out of place to me, though. Now, the fire elemental. It's really cool. Again, I'm not entirely sure how to justify it for a Cassian. Perhaps some kind of pet? If it were, it's definitely out of control, having burned down the nearby trees. In any case, I think that the sheer lunacy of a fire elemental shooting globs of fire around that, if you try to put them out, starts a challenge, counteracts the fact that it may be a little bit out of place. I think it's really cool. Maybe the fire elemental landed on the zombies. I don't know. Moving on to the other side of the plot. This side of the house, I think, is much more consistent in terms of theme. Starting off, we have a landing pad of sorts. The technological theme meshes very nicely, and the marauder signs and ships could very easily be spoils of war. Every man needs an escape route, and spaceships work quite well for that, I think. You could easily imagine a tunnel in the basement leading here for a quick getaway. Just next to it is a jump pad. The actual function of this is a little bit strange, since it just makes you jump really high. But I could imagine ship technicians and perhaps even a few servants using these to get to some of the higher-up ships on the landing pad. They just have to be able to platform, which I cannot. I'm really sorry. Anyway, as you can see, there's a second floating landing pad here, and just above that is a zeppelin. I think this is really great. A good bit of aerial defense for the manor, and it looks absolutely gorgeous next to the skybox, which too is very well chosen. Forcing people to look up at the skybox thanks to the ships is great, and Nexus just looks remarkable. Moving on. Now, I'm not entirely sure what this next contraption is. I think it's a decor item, but if it does something like Activated Challenge, I have no idea. I couldn't get it to do anything. However, function aside, I think the technological look fits well with the landing and jump pads. It's a bit less well designed than the other pads, with some wood here and there, but I think it fits with the rest of the theme just fine. Now, this is something that confused me somewhat. Here you can find a semicircle of banners, spoils of war, or signs of good relations, perhaps a bit of both. I think they look really good, and there's a lot of detail on them. For that reason, I think it's a shame that they're over here in a corner by themselves. I very nearly missed them. I think they'd look really great around something like the fountain near the front of the house, which we'll get to in a bit. However, if the goal was for a sort of flag circle, I think it should be a bit bigger. Perhaps placing the banners on some sort of platform would make them a little bit more noticeable, because as it stands, they're just a bunch of sticks in the ground. Really great looking sticks, but so easy to miss. Moving on to the training grounds. Here, there's a training dummy and a few decor items. The training dummy is fully usable, and you can smack away while it scales to your level. I like that. I imagine it'd be very helpful for anyone, whether you're a role player or not. You can imagine this sort of being a workout area, with the crates, the weapons, the treadmill, which to my horror didn't actually let me use it as a treadmill. That needs to be fixed. And a sofa for relaxing on. Perhaps the owner of the manor could relax on the sofa and watch his guards train, make sure they're up to snuff for protecting him. Now, this next little thing is one of my favourites. A fire pit of sorts looks over a couple of old pillows and a box, upon which can be seen a game of cards. This is just wonderful. I can easily imagine the guards or the servants coming out here to play a game of cards away from the watchful eye of their master. I think that's just really cool. And when you turn around to go back to the house, you can see a brilliant view of the house with Nexus on the right and the Marauder Zeppelin on the left. One side note. I think the use of trees on the plot is handled very well. There's just enough to make the place feel a little untamed, but at the same time not too many to make it seem uncharted. This is also a great way to fill in space near the front of the house where you can't put a fab kit. Just before you enter the house, there's a little fountain here. I think it works great, but I'd have liked to have seen it with some water, maybe. I don't even know if that's possible, but it's a shame that it isn't really doing anything. The outside of the house is very well crafted, although I'm not entirely convinced by the glowing sign on the front. I don't think a Cassian needs to tell people who they are, or where they are. Surely he's well known enough for them to just know by seeing. A quick glance around the house doesn't show many modifications, although I'm not really sure what this glowing thing on the back is. I think it just comes with the house, but I can't figure out what it's supposed to be. Just around the front of the house is a mailbox which you can use, which is awesome. And now, into the house itself. As soon as you enter, you are flooded with detail. You enter into a sort of atrium that is absolutely coated with stuff to look at. All along the walls there are bookshelves, mounted heads, trophies, banners, and statues. Each one of them has been placed very well, and I really love the inclusion of a small flower bed here. The mixture of object origins, from Draken wardrobes to Cassian banners to Greenock signs, makes it seem like the owner has really been about and earned or taken some of these trophies. I think it works really well, and there's not too much stuff here to make it feel cramped. Just through the entryway here is the owner's office. A Cassian wall has been used to make it into its own room. It's easy to imagine he spends most of his time working here when he's not adventuring. The speaker bot outside links the two rooms, and the additional chair clearly shows that the owner expects and welcomes visitors. This small office is also flooding with detail. The bookshelves are meticulously detailed, and the contrast of a high-tech screen on one wall and an ancient ticking clock on the other really makes it seem like the room is a blend of elegant design and sci-fi practicality. I really like the desk chair too, with the still burning cigar on the arm. The two wardrobes flanking it make it seem imposing, and the place is lit up with a couple of lanterns. I think the room is very well designed, with maybe just the addition of a rug to finish it off. Heading upstairs, the design of the walls changes quite dramatically, going from decorated red to a sort of cream colour. More display cases and trophies on the wall fill the corner nicely, then it's on to the second floor. This wide corridor leading to the main room is very well presented, with multiple pictures and portraits hanging on the walls. The frames and images are varied and impressively placed, reminding me somewhat of the way the Dominion trailer framed their races. I think it looks brilliant, with just the right amount of images. Now, onto the room itself. There's plenty of space here, which is impressive considering how many things it does. Starting in the corner, one can find a small kitchen, with a neatly arranged table for eating, a practical shelf, and a stovetop. Just past that, a small bar has been arranged, complete with, I think it's a plushie. Regardless, I think the bar fits really nice right next to the kitchen. And it links the kitchen to the next area, which is sort of a dining room. A dining room that seems to have been taken over by plushies. Some kind of freak plushie tea party. It's very bizarre and awesome and really somewhat out of place. However, I like the idea that every manor has its secrets, and when it comes down to it, arranging plushies into a freaky tea party is one of the more benign secrets to have, I think. I just think it's wacky and wonderful and justifies its existence through just how insane it is. Again, there's a great amount of detail here, and I really love the addition of a monitor, like a TV, on the wall just above. In between this and the next area is a dartboard. This is such a simple addition that works really well, filling the gap perfectly. Moving on to a medical station. I like this is really cool. The sci-fi technological bed is contrasted by the cabinet of medicinal herbs on the wall, and the whole thing is just small enough to make it seem like it's personal, but big enough to make it seem a bit overdone, which is what a Royal Cassian would want, I think. I love the little floating probes that circle the area. I can imagine that they would help operate on any injuries the manor sustains. You don't need a doctor when you have robots. The last section of the house is the bedroom, which fits very nicely into the last corner of it. Starting off, this mannequin works very nicely. I want one of these in my own house. It's really well placed, and it could be a place where the noble hangs his adventuring gear while he's relaxing at home. The decorated Cassian dresser works very nicely, and the bursting shelf full of tomes, scrolls, and relics is where the organisation starts to deteriorate, which is very true of everyone in life. Bedrooms are messy. The bedside table could stand to use another small decor item, like a glass or something, but the hookah goes well with the bed itself, which... I have nothing to say about this. Regardless, the room works very well, not being too cramped with stuff on the walls. I think it's a great place for a Cassian to rest his head. So that's the house. I think it's brilliant, and it stands as a testament to the amount of time and work that's required to hit level 50. I love the aesthetic changes between the top and bottom floors, and the whole interior of the house feels very polished. The outside could use a bit of tweaking, but changing fab kits around is very difficult and horribly expensive, so I can understand why things are placed the way they are. However, with a bit of work and the swapping of kits, I think the place would present an even better first impression. Finally, after recording this footage, Gaelic contacted me and told me about a swing he implemented into the servants' area. Heavily work in progress, but I love it. I've always loved swings, especially ones that hang from trees. That's it for this video. Thank you very much to Gaelic for allowing me to examine, record, and talk about his house. I hope you enjoyed it and found this video helpful. If you have any thoughts, make sure to leave a comment below and like or dislike the video. I'm always after feedback, especially so with this series, so let me know what you think. You can contact me using the links in the description, or just leave a comment. If you happen to be on the Avindra US server and want me to show off your house, get in contact with me. If there's interest in this series, I'll see about setting up a system where you can record your own houses for inclusion in these tours. Make sure you subscribe to catch my videos as soon as they come out. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck with your adventures on Nexus.